big. That's right. Fail big. You only live once, so do what you feel passionate about. Take chances. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. In order to achieve your goals, you must apply discipline and consistency every day, not just on Tuesday and miss a few days. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. You've heard the saying, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. Hard work works.
Top of the afternoon, top of the Sunday afternoon. And then there was 88 days. What's up, Bob? How you doing today? I see you over there in your Playmaker, baby. We repping them 88s today. We are 88 days away from the Cowboys and Eagles kicking off. And if you're excited and you're joining us today, do me a favor, press like and share this video. Shout out everybody on Facebook, everybody on LinkedIn, everybody on YouTube. I know I didn't go live yesterday on YouTube. My apologies. But I got my guy Bob here with me today, and we are talking all things 88. That's right.
88. It's my lucky number. It's been my number since I was a young person. Actually, it started off with 8, I believe. But it morphed into 88, definitely with the help of number 47 at the University of Miami, a.k.a. number 88 in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys, Michael Irvin, my all-time favorite NFL player and my favorite 88.
That's right. That's right. He's Playmaker, and I am the original. Y'all know my favorite guy is right down there below me. See him right there. He got the biggest afro in the Hall of Fame, baby. That's what our claim to fame is. My guy got the biggest fro in the fame. And shout out to my guy, Dez Bryant, because you know when you throw them strikes at that 88 behavior bowling tournament that's getting ready to go down at the home opener, you got to throw up the X. But let's welcome everybody to the show. We see everybody coming in on the comments. Shout out to all of our Green Bay supporters. Shout out to Megan. She got them reps in. Hey, man, I need y'all to share this on your timeline. A lot of people in Cowboy groups are asleep right now. There's a lot of bloggers and a lot of vloggers asleep right now. What a prototype. There's our two-time gym rat of the month right there, April and May. Men, we are getting our ass whipped in the gym, and the ladies are doing it. What's up, Kelly? We see you. Happy Sunday out there in D.C. We talking all things 88 today. That's right, 88. My girl Sarah got that. Did you see her 88 behavior tattoo?
No.
Bobby, yeah, she got an 88 behavior tattoo right here, right here on her wrist. Man, I think, do I got the picture up? Did I upload it? Did I upload it?
100% unsurprised.
Let me take a look at right here. Let me just pull it up right quick.
Talking about dedication, you might as well just put her picture there. That's a beautiful thing, man. 88's great, man. It's a good number. It's a good number, and it's a pretty messed up number in some ways, but we won't talk about that. But the 88s that we're talking about right now, man, are just legends for this team. And it's almost as if, because there's only one guy that wore the number that didn't match up to the other 88s. I think it's like one of those numbers that we now just bestow upon somebody who I think is going to be amazing. Since Pearson, since Bryant, since Irvin, since these guys really put the stamp on that number and really kept that going, man. Anyone who has that number now for the Cowboys moving forward is going to be something, or was something.
Well, I got a question. I know you may know this answer right here because you're pretty thorough when it comes to the 88 legacy lineage. But for everybody tapping in, you got to do 2 things here today. First, you got to tell us who is your favorite 88. Because a lot of Cowboy fans fail to realize they think that there's only 4 88s. But actually, did you know CeeDee Lamb is the 12th player to wear the number 88? So if you're just tapping in, let us know in the comments Who is your favorite 88? And my question to the audience here today is, why do they call Drew Pearson the original, but he wasn't the first to wear the number? So let's get into all things 88. Y'all let us know who your favorite is down there. Let us know your favorite memories. We're talking all things 88. We're 88 days away from the Cowboys and the Eagles kicking off on Thursday Night Football. Do we got anybody going to the game in the comments? Let us know on LinkedIn. Let us know on YouTube. So I know Bob was just telling me, yeah, he was like, we might buy tickets, but I got to make sure I got a clan going with me, because that's like going into the belly of the beast up there at Lincoln Financial Field.
That's crazy. I don't know. It would take to go to the link. It would take some things for me to go there. And again, it's not because I'm afraid, but me versus 2-3 people, I'll be all right with that. Even in my dumbest decision days. But 60,000, 70,000, that's really not something I want to go up against. So even then, it's a tough one. They're gonna be mean, as deservedly so, because I don't remember treating the Washington Redskin fans very nice when I was at one of the games back in the 90s.
They're a shit fan base, bro. I mean, you see them. You seen that guy that was talking to the girl on video, called her the C word, and went viral. Yeah. Then they went and snatched the guy. Tough. Like, yeah, their fan base is trash, man.
Oof. Oof.
So I know I got some Eagle fans following us here on Built Different Group, so don't pop your head in here today, because them boys, we talking about 88s. And y'all know my guy, the original, he was the 88. He was the original Eagle killer. You remember that? Bob, I remember that when you sent me that link. I think I was in the mall buying hats or something, and you sent me that Drew Pearson intro. I think it was 17 or 18 at the draft. When was it?
Right.
And, I'd like to thank the Eagle fans for an illustrious career. Thank you very much. And that's when he went into going to trolling, and then everybody want to copy and paste. Like, Drew is the original. Then here come the Eagles the next draft. We want to do one-time Super Bowl champion or whatever it was. Yeah, y'all know y'all want to be like us. All the NFL teams want to be like us. We're still America's team. Everybody want to be America's team. But did you know that the NFC East is the only division with 4 number 88s?
Currently? Huh.
Yeah.
Since I don't really give a damn about any of those teams, I don't even know who would be attached to those 88s.
We can start out with the Eagles, because this dude, his name says it all. He grew up a boys fan. Dallas Goedert at number 88 for the Eagles. Yeah, that's right. He wears number 88 too. We got CeeDee Lamb. They got Dallas Goedert. Can y'all tell us who the other 2 88s are down there in the comments below as we talk about all things 88? We appreciate everybody joining us here today.
I think psychologically, I don't even throw a tight end into the 88 conversation, because it's always wide receivers that I think about with that number. But, now since that's been blown up to shit, really, with all these crazy numbers out there, that's something I've got to get myself used to. But yeah, the 88s creeping there on the tight ends. You're right, man. I didn't even think about that.
I didn't know that until I started researching all things 88. That's what we're talking, all things 88 here today. Kelly says she went to the link in all black and Nike boots. Look, she went ready. I'm saying it's gang warfare, man. You got to get suited and booted. I mean, I went to back in 2018 when I was working for Comcast shortly after I retired. They flew like 90 veterans from the company nationwide up to Philadelphia for the main headquarters there. We got to go to a symposium where Stanley McChrystal came out and talked. Shout out to all my veterans out there. If you know Stanley McChrystal from out there in the Gulf War and all of that stuff, he came and did a little presentation. But as a treat, they took us to the Army-Navy game at the Lincoln Financial Field. And so, of course, I'm all flamed up in Cowboys. I ain't wearing no Navy shit. Like, I'm at Lincoln Financial Field. I'm looking for the smoke.
Yeah.
And, when I left my hotel, they had us in a plush 5-star hotel downtown. Then we had to ride the SEPTA train to the station or to Texas Live that they got there. Texas Live, they got right outside the station, too. Went into a tailgate. Got to meet, what's the dude's name? The cook. I can't remember his name, man, but he's real famous. He's on one of them cooking channels. I can't remember his name, but he was there. We ran into him, and then, we walked into the state, but there was no Eagle fans there. I seen some Eagle fans looking at me, but they didn't want to smoke. They was just looking at me. But of course, this was back before they won them 2 rings, though. So, yeah. But yeah. No, you got to go suited and booted to the link. And I feel you when you were talking about buying tickets, because I felt the same. Like, I know when Kels told us that, Jerry was pushing for the Eagles and Cowboys game 1, I was like, man, if that home opener is the next game, I can't make it, although I would like to. But had I liked to, me and you would have had to team up and buy tickets and get us another couple guys like Kels in the comments and go put on our boots and fatigues and get ready for war.
Yeah, the last two times I went to a Cowboys game here in Denver against the Broncos, it was not good. And one of them happened during a preseason game too, and it was amazing just how much shit we got and how much we had to put up with in the hands that we threw, simply because people just wanted to talk shit and get drunk, man. And again, I honestly think, I guarantee you that if you just take alcohol out of every stadium, which I'm not telling you should do that, I'm telling you that if you did, you may have some of the most peaceful experiences you'll ever have in an NFL football game.
There's too much money in that liquor.
No, I know.
Too much money. I know you know. Yeah, I know exactly, man. I couldn't imagine, but yeah, I could. But man, that would be crazy. No alcohol at a football game. Like, that's a whole big part of it. Drinking on Sunday, watching football. But there goes Sarah right there. She got her 88 behavior shirt on. Shout out to our gym rat of the month for April and May. She's kicking asses and taking names. Guys, you need to be able to show up. Shout out to everybody on my Patreon. Look, we're having a Big Val hat competition this month. And if you have not got into the chat on Patreon and put the estimated number of hats you think Big Val has created over the last 8 years, whoever gets closest to that number, he gave me a number. You got to go inside that chat. Now, I tell y'all this all the time, and I hear y'all say, reading is fundamental, comprehension is key. But if you're not reading on my Patreon, you're not going to be able to win. And I think that's why Sarah and Mike Rock been neck and neck. And shout out to my guy Sterling Sellers too as well on the competitions. But get over in the Patreon chat and put how many estimated hats you think Big Val has made. Let me ask you a question, Bob. How many hats do you think Big Val has made over the last year? 8 years. Oh, I'll tell you if you're warm or cold. Shit. Yeah, he said over almost 8 years.
Man, I'm gonna put a stupid number out there. I'm gonna say like 12,000.
No, not that much. That's a crazy ass number though.
It's a crazy number, man.
Big Val would never sleep if he made 10,000. Shout out to my guy Pete Vasquez, baby. Pete's grilling and chilling is in the house, baby. You don't know who Pete is? We covered Pete on Official America's team. I'll go ahead and pull that up.
I was gonna say at least one a day for a few years. So
no, he's created a lot, but I'll tell you, not 12,000. That's a whole hell of a lot, if you know what I'm saying.
It will be. That's lids.
But yeah, shout out to my guy Pete's Grilling and Chilling. I'm going to go ahead and pull up this OAT site today. So shout out to all of the Patreon supporters. A lot of y'all are competing for these prizes, but really what your support goes down to is keeping the only blog on the internet talking about Dallas Cowboy fans, the lights on, baby. And here is my guy Pete's Grilling and Chilling. Shout out to One Star One Family. They was out there with their 4th annual barbecue. And this is the guy that's on the pit, man. We did a feature of him on the OAT here. Shout out to my guy Pete's Grilling and Chilling in Bakersfield, California, man. He's got that hot sauce, which I'm ordering some more, and that barbecue sauce. So make sure y'all check out my guy Pete. Appreciate you tapping in today, Pete. I'll share this link in the comments as we continue to talk about all things 88.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to do this today because I was doing the countdown not like nobody's counting until we play. But, I think we're currently 45 days away from training camp off. I'm just putting that out there. I predicted this hasn't been put out yet, but I predicted that camp will start on the 23rd. Last year it started on the 25th. So I'm kind of running that countdown. And if that changes, I'll eat crow a little bit and then we'll adjust. But right now we're 45 days. So shout out to Rod Smith. I don't know if you remember Rod Smith and Jalen Smith, the brothers that played for the Cowboys. But yeah, 45 days away. And now we're 88 days officially from the NFL season kicking off. And I wanted to make this a big show here today because I know you're a Playmaker fan. I'm a Drew Pearson fan, which, by the way, I did ask everybody here today, why is Drew called the original, but he wasn't the first to wear it? So I need your answers in the comments as we continue to talk about all things 88 today.
Yes, sir. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, man. I can't believe I'm excited, if I'm being honest, man, especially at the end of last year, man.
I know, right? It's like a full 180 for you. You like boundaries. I'm going to the gym. I'm raising the bar for real. I'm getting in shape. I ain't fucking with these Cowboys. Fucking with my mental health. Got me smoking. Damn near about to be drinking. And if you got it, pull it up. If you got it, roll it up. But yeah, I feel you, Bob. It's been like a 180 for you.
But I'll tell you this much. It's common sense that I run on, along with some added intelligence if needed. But in this situation, I didn't really need a lot of intelligence. What I needed to see was something different. And again, it was just moving a coach and his coaching staff around. But really, the moves in the offseason that were smarter than some things we've been doing in the last few years is kind of what kept ticking me over the edge. And I don't want to say that Pickens was the catalyst, but I was super surprised that they went for him because I kept hearing that name for a month, so much so that when I first heard it, I added him to my MUT team on Madden. just to see maybe what it feels like to have the dude, and the guy catches everything. But it really was just like, all right, maybe he is not all in, but he's moving pieces that he needs to move as an owner, which we all know really shouldn't be done by an owner. But he started making those moves, and that's what made me go, okay, now I can start getting interested. I talked to my four horsemen out in different areas of the United States that I grew up with in Miami, watching and
they're all gonna be there with you for the Denver game, right? The four horsemen you're talking about. Shoot,
yeah.
Shout out to the four horsemen.
Yeah, we're still I'm still not 100% really whether it depends on really how much these game tickets are. Man, if it starts getting out of hand, we might just have a watch party at my house, which is far, as far as I'm concerned.
Hey man, I believe I'm calling it right now. I think that's going to be the trend this season. I think because, as the tickets come out like they normally do every year, they're sky high. Shout out to Outkast down there with that black eyes, sky high. Them tickets be sky high. Yeah, $500 upper level at Allegiant Stadium, sky high. You know what I mean? Normally they do come down a little bit, but if they don't come down, I see everybody at the tailgates, like what you're talking about, at the watch parties, at the bars, because it's like it's the haves and the have-nots when it comes to these tickets.
Shout out to Rob Avila out there in Odessa, Texas, and all my homeboys that I used to watch games with out there, man. They used to come to my house and they used to all give me like $5-10 to watch UFC fights, because they knew I would, I'd pay for that. It was like $60, and it wasn't really something that I asked anybody to do, but they were all down MFs, and they always did that. So I would get reimbursed for that. I see that as something that's going to be happening again, watching NFL games, because of how much money it costs us to actually watch them just as a consumer sitting at home.
I seen something going around and said like $1,500, like with all YouTube and all the Peacock and in it.
Sure.
Like, like I cut my damn NFL subscription off last season. They just charged me again. I'm like, I just cut that shit off. Why you back on my card? What's up with that NFL? But yeah, it's expensive as hell, Bob.
We did it. We did YouTube Sunday ticket for one season, and it was a lot of money, as it still is. And the next season we decided to opt out and see how our luck was. And we saw every single Cowboys game here in Denver on TV. If they don't collide with Denver, we're watching them. They're going to show them in Denver. That could be the other reason why Denver hits us, because we're probably the second most played team in this city, if I'm being honest. But honestly, going back to the point, is it just feels like it's costing so much to be a fan, no matter what. We don't have the cheap option anymore. We can sit home and watch it at home. That's just something that we can do. But if we want to experience that, it's going to cost a lot of money. And I think that's going to be the sort of the norm, where people are going over to people's houses that have the Sunday ticket. Here's $5, here's $10, or I'm going to bring some food. I'm going to do this, and start turning into watch parties. And I'm down as hell for that. My house is big enough to hold everybody. We can get the wings rolling. We can do all that.
Maybe
shit.
We might get a BDG or a Patreon exclusive over there. So shout out to all of the Patreon supporters. If you did not know, CeeDee Lamb is the 12th 88 to wear the number for the Dallas Cowboys. But why do they call Drew the original? You see he's in there 1, 2, 3, 4. He got 4 people before him. And also, did you know that 188 was murdered and it has not been solved yet, Bob?
Ooh, no. Damn.
Yeah, you got to know your 88 legacy lineage. I know most Cowboy fans only believe in the 88 club because they believe it's Drew Pearson, as you see, Dez Bryant, CeeDee Lamb, and Playmaker. Yeah, they're the most famous 88s, and there's a reason why they call Drew the original, and he wasn't the first to wear it, and he's even admitted that too, as well. As you see, shout out to all of the Patreon gang. We actually did this a few years ago. What year is this? I think it was 2021. Shout out 4 years ago, baby. The 88 legacy lineage was broke down. Shout out to all of my Patreons on Patreon. We all contributed in. This was like a class project, and we went through. There's me and Drew there when he's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. We talk about the other Dez, the other Bryant. A lot of folks don't know there's an other Bryant. So my question is, how do you know if you're wearing a Dez Bryant 88 or an Antonio Bryant?
Antonio Bryant.
That's a legitimate question. Did Antonio have an A Bryant on his or no?
No, he did not.
Dez wasn't there yet. He was
right. There was no other Bryant.
Yeah.
There was no other Bryant. And that's the only other, when people ask me outside of the big four, what's another 88 that you can think of, I automatically say Antonio Bryant. And for some reason, I don't remember him being the greatest 88 we had at all, really. But I know that he had it.
They kind of, he was like the precursor to Dez. They kind of did him like they did Dez. Remember, they said Dez is too violent. Dez is too, he's too vocal. He's too animated or whatnot. They kind of did that to Antonio Bryant. But yeah, check out the link in the comments. I'm going to place this. This is the 88 legacy lineage. Shout out to everybody that supports my Patreon. This is what keeps the lights on for Cowboy fans around the world. So that way you can learn about the 88s as we talk about all things 88 here today. Let us know in the comments who's your favorite 88. Yeah, Antonio Bryant was like, like they did Dez. Shout out to Dez out there.
So what was it? Let me ask you this. What was it about? See, because we're old enough to probably have seen Pearson later on. Later on, and I'm talking we were young as hell when we were watching it.
So single digit numbers, yeah.
Right. So do you have any memories of you watching Drew play, or is it just you?
I just remember the Hail Mary, bro. At the Hail Mary, that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody remembers the Hail Mary from Roger Staubach, that Navy dude. Yeah. Roger and Drew actually created the Hail Mary. When you hear people talking about, in case you didn't know, I know we got a lot of smart Cowboy fans here, but if you did not know where the term Hail Mary came from, yours truly, you see him, the biggest afro in the Hall of Fame, is responsible. But yeah, that's all I remember, really. And then outside of that, once I got into the trenches, once I retired, and because I joined the Navy in like 93, that's when the Cowboys was winning and doing their thing. And that was pre-social media, before we had 24-hour news cycle and everybody knew every damn thing every time it happened somewhere. But yeah, once I got out and retired and I got into the trenches, I was seeing, this is before Drew got into the Hall of Fame. Drew was in the trenches. And I talk about that here, especially with One Star One Family down here. Shout out to Sherry Godmother, the wife of DJ Kai, founder of One Star One Family. They did a tour with their first Cowboy game back in 2015. As you see Sherry, the godmother here. They did a tour here with Drew Pearson, got to do a meet and greet. Shout out to Sherry Montano. But yeah, got to know your 88 history here, baby, as we talk about all things 88 today.
Yeah, 88 for me, man. I don't know that I was paying much attention to wide receivers as my favorite position, because it eventually turned into that. I think I tell you this much, I was a monster Herschel Walker fan. I really loved the running back position as an early NFL player, NFL fan.
Yeah, him responsible for all of that.
It wasn't until Irvin came out of, and actually watching the Hurricanes of that era, and then him coming over to Dallas with because of Landry, and then eventually Jimmy coming over. It was just too much of an attachment to my hometown for me not to love all that was going on. But it would be different if he just came in and was a mediocre receiver. But we know that's not the case. He came in, and at the end of it all was 750 receptions, 11,904 yards, 65 touchdowns, and averaged 15.9 yards a catch, which is stupid. And we're talking, let's see.
The historian, that's the historian at work right there, baby.
The biggest year was 95, I think 1,600 yards he had in that season with like 10 touchdowns. Absolute insanity. He was going off. He was one of the original not caring about going over the middle wide receivers. When we're talking about a 3 and 6, where we're at 3rd and 6 right now, and they are hammering down and they're slamming down on the line and making sure Emmett's not going to run that ball. Michael Irvin was always going to run a slant in and catch that ball and get slammed and get right back up. Let's do this.
Well, he's carrying on what Drew did. Drew, little frail ass, used to take his ass across the middle and pop, he get popped too. Shout out to my guy Ryan West commenting in here. That's some great context right there. If you weren't aware, the NFL banned the CD nose wipe. So what kind of celly is going? I think even on America's stream right before the draft, I think Micah had asked him, hey, how you feel about the celly? He's like, man, it's all bad. But like CD said, he not bigger than the program. I love that response. So let us know in the comments. Great question, great context here today, Ryan. Thanks for always tapping in. But what celebration do you think CD's going? Because he gonna score some TDs. CD gonna get some TDs. And if I'm telling you, if you play fantasy football like I play fantasy football, the only Cowboy I'm drafting this year is CD Lamb.
CD, man. Ooh, he's a bad boy. He definitely won me over, man. I just find it funny that Michael Irvin's picture down there, he has this mug in his hand.
Yeah, he got the Lombardi, though. He got to show the way, because I believe once CD Lamb breaks Michael Irvin's records, it's not a matter of if but when. All he needs is his phone to ring one time, and that boy going to be a automatic first ballot Hall of Famer once he gets out, because he will lead all 88s. Now, can anybody tell me who is the all-time receptions leader in touchdowns for the Dallas Cowboys? Leave me a comment down below. I want to see who's on their 88 behavior today. Which Dallas Cowboy has the most touchdown receptions in Cowboys history? Leave us a comment down there below as we continue to talk about all things 88 here today.
I feel like
shout out to
mind.
EPT 915 in the house. Shout out to Baldezero Guerrero. Appreciate you tapping in here today. Sterling, I know he's around our age. He says he remembers the 70s and early 80s. Shout out to my guy Sterling, Green Bay supporter in the gym, competing hard on Patreon.
Shout out to anybody who can remember that time at this point in our life, right?
I know, right? With attention span of like 5 minutes now and shit, you know what I mean? With beautiful technology, I done forgot more than I can remember. Shout out to Sarah. She says, I remember being at Texas Stadium on Thanksgiving in 98 and absolutely losing my mind when Irvin came on the field. Yeah.
Wow.
Big 88 behavior right there. Big 88 behavior.
I had just moved to Austin the year before and was able to go to their practices at St. Thomas when they did practices out there. That's amazing. I would never have been able to afford going to a Thanksgiving game, but I did go see them, I think, the year after. I got to go to Texas Stadium 2 times.
Yeah. That's dope. Lucky. That's dope. Shout out to Sterling. He says, I got to see if Ron Sellers' family, not Jingle Joints. Did you know Ron Sellers' nickname was Jingle Joints?
Jingle Jangle. No,
if I remember correctly, let me get down here. Where the hell is he at? He's on here somewhere. Shit. It's like 12 of them. Let me get to him. Yeah, that's Ron crazy. Sellers. I think Ron Sellers was out of Florida. Now, see, a lot of the 88s only played maybe 1 or 2 years at the most. And then obviously the 4 88 club members played the longest, had the biggest impact. Here it goes. The fact Ron Sellers was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1988 says it all when it comes to numbers. Photo credit. This is Ron Sellers right here. And yeah, that's his nickname. The name Jingle Joints had me laughing, maybe because he was 6'4" and only 200 pounds. Either way, he relocated to Miami and then faded out of the NFL picture altogether. Shout out to Ron Sellers, man. He might be your kinfolk, baby.
Man, I'm 6'3", 210. What the hell is that guy trying to say, man? I've fashioned myself to be a big dude.
He should have been on the court, man. 6'4", 200 pounds. Yeah, I see what they call him, Jingle Joints, because he was probably getting smashed up like Drew was coming across the middle.
Clink, 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 clink.
But yeah, I'm interested about this CD Lamb celebration because CD is very, I used to love when CD would always, when CD got up and he was giving you, you know what I mean, the guns and shit. Shout out to Star Gang out there in ATL, baby. Pew, pew, when CD Lamb would give the gun, like you can't give the gun gesture no more. They say that's referring to gang violence now.
Okay,
and the nose wipe, and the nose wipe is actually coming from the culture off the soil. And so they're trying to ban that too. They say that's gang related activity.
I don't know, man. I always took it as like, I'm so sick. My nose is dripping, kind of like, just, I don't know, man. I when I saw that was banned, that felt a little targeted, if I'm being honest. And we're talking about a guy who does not excessively celebrate. You don't hear anything about that guy off the field. He is probably one of the most understated 88s while being one of the greatest 88s at the same time. So to hear that kind of shit, it just felt a little targeted. Like, we got to get one Cowboy a year, a rule. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like ever since Roy Williams, we're just going. We got these rules that keep getting put in for us. Yeah. But they keep the tush push, which I think is cute.
NFL radio knows what's up. Shout out to all my Sirius XM listeners out there. If you listen to NFL radio on Sirius XM, guess what channel they are? 88. Yeah, 88. Sarah says, Jingle Joints. He's definitely family of us square groupers. Yeah, I was laughing. I said, Jingle Joints? Oh, man. Because, they was doing more than joints back in the 70s and the 80s in the locker room and at Texas Stadium and in the valley out there in the ranch.
And the last thing they were messing with in football was joints. It was the other direction for those dudes.
Yeah. But if you're just tapping in with us today on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, shout out to everybody. Let us know who your favorite 88 is in the comments. We're discussing all things 88 today as we go over the legacy lineage. Yeah. Jingle Joints, man. Yeah. Drew Pearson was actually the 5th player to wear the number. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But they call him the original. If you didn't know why they call him the original, they call him the original because he's the one that took the number off. He's the one that was going across the middle. He was the one with Roger Staubach. He created the Hail Mary. He won them rings back in the day. He got them rings and things. And you know what I really hate is all the Cowboy haters that say Drew cried his way into the fucking Hall of Fame. Now, I'm a big Drew supporter, but he didn't cry his way into the Hall of Fame. Now, they did get him on the year he was live, and he thought he was going to get it, and they seen him cry. But I don't think, the guy cried about getting in the Hall of Fame. Anybody should be crying about the Hall of Fame. And I know we're talking about 88s here today, but that should be Woody. if anybody's
Yeah.
crying about the Hall of Fame. Because, yeah, you need to get Woody in there, you know, the all-time leading tackler for the Dallas Cowboys. But, yeah, it took Drew, 33 years to finally get in. And, you know, people say he cried his way into the Hall of Fame. Well, guess what, bitch? Cry your way into the Hall of Fame, too, and get you a gold jacket. Because once you get it, they can't take it. And he got the biggest afro in the Hall of Fame. His name is Drew Pearson. He's right down there. That's my guy.
Yeah, man. Him and Staubach were a legendary. You know, Staubach was a very, very religious person. So that's exactly why he, you know,
under Tom Landry. Yeah, Tom Landry was religious, but he said Tom Landry actually said he didn't force it on his players. He just carried himself as such.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, and that's exactly the case. And that's why he was, you know, understated. He called it, he said it, I just said a Hail Mary and threw the ball. It wasn't even like he wasn't calling that throw the Hail Mary. He literally said a Hail Mary.
He literally just ran back and threw and said, God, please let it reach Drew. We need it.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
prayer was answered.
And what does he get in 2025? He gets to be called Johnny Unitas in Madden Ultimate Team because the developers that decided to throw Roger Staubach into the game decided they didn't want to match the information correctly. So
that's sad.
Yeah, he's
that's
Johnny
sad.
Unitas.
Shout out to Megan Shorty in the comments. She said Dez Bryant holds the record for the most receiving touchdowns. 73? Is it 73? Can I get a witness? Can we get some clarification? I just want to make sure for the comments here that we're putting out correct information. She says Drew was blackballed. Ooh, tell me more. Tell me more. Do I need to send you the link, Kelly? And you can join us on the show and tell us more. You got some tea to spill here today. Y'all know my girl Kales will be live with me tomorrow. We're going to be kicking off the pregame mandatory show for mandatory minicamp this week, which Micah Parsons said he would be at. So I'm looking forward to mandatory minicamp coming up this week as we've seen a lot of the official numbers come out. We've seen, George Pickens is now officially number 3. I think Damone Clark is now number 13. So they did some number swaps and stuff out there. So shout out to everybody tapping in here today. She says Woody has been robbed forever. Yeah, Woody. Did you know Woody grew up a Steelers fan?
Jeez.
Yeah, Woody grew up a Steelers fan too. As you know, I know we're getting off track here, but as we continue to stay on the 88s, but yeah, I thought that was cool too. Sterling says some of our players just don't get the credit they should. Oh, like Dak Prescott. Yeah, I know, like Dak Prescott, the most hated quarterback in the league. You know, Dak Prescott is the longest tenured quarterback in the NFL, starting right now, going into year 10. We got consistency there for the most part. Some teams, like how many quarterbacks has Cleveland gone through now? What are they on, like 50, 11 quarterbacks?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Cowboy fans, they don't respect. Well, they don't want to show my guy, some support. But I know Bazooka Joe is waiting in the wing.
For the record, Dez Bryant has 75 touchdowns. I don't know if you specified whether you're talking about just receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, I did. I said receiving touchdown, but no, he's got 75 total with the punt return. I think he's got 2 returns for a touchdown. But yeah, shout out to Meggie out there. Megan Shorty putting in them reps. Megan actually won the the Drew Pearson jersey that we had up for last month for Top Stars. So shout out to our girl Megan Shorty. She was the Top Stars last night, taking home Drew Pearson. So if you donated stars today on Facebook, thank you very much. We have another Drew Pearson, as you see on this side of me right here, custom autographed jersey with a COA up for grabs. If you're giving stars today, all stars matter.
Yes, again, I was splitting hairs. It's exactly correct. He did have 73 receiving touchdowns because there were two runs that he ran in there. So yes, I wasn't saying you were wrong.
No. That's why I asked her. Is it 73
right.
total, or just get real specific here? But
clarification.
Yeah, there we go. 75, but 73 receiving. Exactly. Ryan says, I remember Emmitt Smith at the end of his career. He was special. Sorry to get off track. Yeah, you're trying to get me off track over there, Ryan. He says Dak stays healthy. Watch out for his weapons. He now has Milton keeps improving, and Dak motivated him play. Yeah, it's funny because Dak haters got to hear Joe Bazooka Joe say he's got to sit and learn behind Dak. Remember what we was talking about in the green room before we got in here? I told you if we go into week 5 and we're nose diving before week 5 of this season, all the Dak haters are gonna be saying fire Dak, put in Joe Milton. You know it's coming. We had the Cooper Rush, Dak Prescott divide. We had the Trey Lance, Cooper Rush, Dak Prescott divide. And we're getting ready to have the Joe Milton, Dak Prescott divide here this season too. But
hey, listen, man.
Cowboy fans ain't never happy, bro.
This game is cyclical, man. Exactly what happened to Tony Romo can happen to Dak Prescott. Maybe with less having to do with an injury and more having to do with just degraded play. So if it turns out that Dak Prescott obviously loses us the first 5 or 6 games of this season by throwing multiple interceptions to times he should, if he just looks real bad, we can't discount the fact that they're going to just decide to throw Milton in there to see exactly what he can do.
I don't think he will this year. You know why? Because Pickens is going to open it up. Now, if they spread CeeDee Lamb, number 88, and George Pickens, number 3 now officially, if they spread them, bro, there's no double teaming. And then you can't forget about the others. You got, the tight end, you got wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, whoever. I don't think Dak is going to be throwing a lot of forced balls, which I think he forced a lot of balls. He forced a lot of balls, to Dak in triple covers and double coverage, trying to get the ball to CD rather to get him in the game. And I think that's where some of his picks came. But I think with the addition of GP, as long as they're both on the field, there's no double teams. I think Dak might just be, major Pickens out there. And I'm not talking about pick 6.
But and again, we said this the last time we spoke about this, the fact that he's got all these weapons is even more pressure for his ass. So what I'm trying to say is, if with all of these amazing targets he has and all this ability he has to keep a game going, maybe through the ground game, but maybe choosing to throw instead, if he screws all that up over the course of 5 or 6 games, we're going to see Milton come in. That was my point. He's got all these things where we're not going to see him make these mistakes. But if he does, with all this talent around him, that's going to be sort of telltale. Even then, I can't even say to myself, shit, maybe I was wrong. But again, he's also on he's getting a little older, dude. We can't be expecting what we did the first 3 years, but he's still a damn good wide receiver, a damn good quarterback when he's got great wide receivers and a good running game. So I don't know, man. I'd love to see him return back to 2 years ago for him and actually light the league up. Yeah.
No doubt. But I'm only drafting CeeDee Lamb. We're talking 88s in this division. There's a lot of great receivers. 4 88s in this NFC East division, only division in the NFL with all 4 88s as we talk about 88s here today. But yeah, with both of them on the field, I think Dak's not forcing balls, and I think, there's not as many interceptions or not many opportunities. Now, tip balls and things like that, that's different. But yeah, I don't foresee Dak with no double-digit interception rate this year. I mean, how could you if you got both of these guys? Like, if you're a defensive coordinator, if anybody defensive coordinator out there, defensive coordinator minds, let us know. How would you prepare for that? Especially Philly on week 1, Thursday Night Football, right? No tape on this offense, no tape on Pickens and CD, and you got about 10 folks that Philadelphia lost as a result of the Super Bowl on the defensive side of the ball. I don't see Vic Fangio coming out week 1, being able to stop George and CD. I just don't see it.
It's going to be a task, man. I'm looking up something real quick. Because really what it's going to come down to is if we've got a team that we're playing against that's really, really sick with a couple of the best safeties, like it looks like Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams for the Ravens, kind of have that as sort of the best safety tandem in the NFL right now. I think that's what it says. If that's the case, that's what it's going to take, I think, for a team to even slow down this attack. But again, if we're talking about safeties just covering that deep ball, that's fine. I think we can kill them on the slants and on the inside routes anyway, and still get these yards that we need. But again, it's going to take a team with lockdown corners and the best safeties in the game to be able to stop this. And again, if we have a good running game, that shouldn't really matter, man.
Which is a great segue, because Ryan says what y'all said, it opens up so much more for Dak, even the run game. I don't think we're going to be a pass-first offense. I think in the first few games, we're going to see them try to establish dominance with this young offensive line. We're going to see who's going to come out of this running back by committee. That's why I'm not drafting any running backs from the Dallas Cowboys this season. I drafted Rico Dowdle last year. I drafted Tony Pollard them 2 years before that. I've been running the damn ball with Dallas on fantasy football, but not this season. Because I don't know who the clear-cut running back 1 is. And if you play fantasy football, you want to go with the guy that's going to get the volume, like Dowdle did last year, after our offensive line chase. And then, he didn't have a lot of scores. But nonetheless, I'm not drafting anybody but CeeDee Lamb. Why? Because when Dak does decide to pass, CeeDee Lamb's got that new contract, $136 million, which in case you hadn't checked that out, I'll go ahead and pull that up on here. But, yeah, he got that new paycheck. He's done got paid. He's not going to lose a step. Like most of y'all say, the Cowboys, every time they get paid, they lose a step, right? Yeah, shout out to the biggest afro in the Hall of Fame, baby. Hut. But let's get down to it. If you did not know, CeeDee Lamb is now on YouTube. That's right. First
awesome.
Trey, and now CD. So if you want to watch the behind the scenes, I shared this on my Patreon. Shout out to all the Patreon gang over there. You can check out the YouTube video of when CD got the news of his new contract being signed. But yeah, this run game, it's gonna be interesting to see if they get this run game established, because are they gonna get it established, or are they gonna run away from it to begin? They can't establish line dominance and they start to go to the air. We have no film. We do not look like we don't know what this offense is gonna look like. And I'm hoping we're gonna get more intel from my girl Kels after this mandatory mini camp, because other than that, we're not gonna see this team in action or running any kind of plays until I'm down in the training camp for the first week of August.
And there's a few teams out there that we play that have decent safeties, but again, really just making a team have to plan for these two wide receivers is going to be a monster deal.
Yeah, I don't know how week 1 Thursday night football. I mean, banner night emotions are going to be running high. I don't think y'all realize this shit, but let these Cowboys fuck around and win on Thursday night football to kick this season off. Y'all gonna hear me say we're going to the fucking Super Bowl all year, because we don't play Philadelphia until when, Bob? When do we play Philadelphia again?
Again, the second time?
Yeah.
I do not know. Wait, that's week. I don't remember.
I think it's the last, November 23rd.
Oh, that's a jump.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense too, because obviously, yeah, you know what, man? It totally blitzed my mind that we're going to play 2 times no matter what. I thought it was going to be again. That's actually, you're right. That's a long time to stew.
And then we play New York at the home opener week 2. So two important critical division games, because if you understand, the NFC East has not had a repeat champion in 21 years. The last team to do it was the Philadelphia Eagles under Andy Reid, 2004, 2005. But I don't foresee that the odds are not in favor for the Eagles. And I don't care that they won the Super Bowl, but you got to realize the turnover that they had on this team. I don't think they come out hot to trot on banner night. I think they're going to be too high. I think they're going to be drunk off the punch. And I think this is a perfect time with Jashadi and this new offense, man. If they go in there and Pickens and Lamb light that joint up, bro. Wait.
Yeah, 100% us shoring up our interior defensive line to stop the run is going to be the utmost importance against that team. But again, that's another team where if we decide we want to shut down their run, they've got decent wide receivers to spread the ball out too. So I think our wide receivers matching up against their cornerbacks, I think we win that one. But they do have a couple decent young cornerbacks there in Philly.
Facts. But yep, 88 days away, baby. 88 days. Let us know in the comments who is your favorite 88 as we talk about all things 88 here today. Drew was the original because he's the one that took the number off. And then when they drafted Michael Irvin, like they tried to turn it over to Antonio Bryant, but Antonio Bryant got hushed and pushed out the league. But then once it got turned over to your guy, Playmaker, once we did the baton handoff from Drew to Playmaker, he told Playmaker, look, you run with it now and you do something with it. And Michael Irvin, he went out there and made it do the damn thing. Shout out to all them Playmaker fans out there. I know that's my guy. What's your favorite all-time Playmaker memory, Bob, since that's your dude?
Oh man, that's a really, really, really tough one, man. Because he's had some ridiculous plays, but I gotta say,
first one that comes to mind, bro. First one that comes to mind.
The first one, his first touchdown in Super Bowl 27, I think, was it when he caught it with his legs spread and then turned around and reached for it. Like there's just something about that guy where it feels like he was one of the first guys to do things after the catch more than some of the other wide receivers on our team at the time. And his ability to stiff arm people, because he was a big, tough dude. It wasn't really just about his physicality, because mentality was always there, dude. He was a competitor. He was going to take the hit because that's what he took the position to do. But he was still going to be able to get those deep bombs. But yeah, I think his first touchdown in Super Bowl 27 it was just one of those things where you got to see everything that he had been doing that entire time since Landry through Jimmy Johnson and actually coming to fruition. It's just one of those big things, man.
Well, here we got Michael Irvin's NFL top 25 plays here today. This is about 5 minutes, so we'll let this run in the background here today as you talk about Michael Irvin. Maybe they'll have that play on there.
And he's a true South Florida boy too. He went to Piper High in Sunrise, St. Thomas Aquinas High School after that in Fort Lauderdale. So he stayed in South Florida and stayed there and went to obviously the University of Miami and did great things over there and was part of a team that was filled with playmakers just like him. So it was born and bred into him to be that way in the NFL. And, you know, Landry couldn't say no to that pick. He was just too damn talented, man.
Is that video playing in the back? Because I can't see it on mine.
It is not playing. It's not playing.
Oh,
It's still.
Okay. And let me do this. I'll reach around with
it says video's not approved. You got to approve it.
Well, yeah, it's because it's in a different. It's in a different. Dance. It's a different situation here. StreamYard, you know how it is. You got to be like an assassin and shit.
You know, the other thing about Michael Irvin, which kind of worked against him, was his fire never really went out. So when he got off the field, much like rock stars and stuff like that, man, they seek that adrenaline rush in other ways, alcohol, drugs, things like that. And Irvin, unfortunately, he wasn't, you know, immune to that, man, especially where he was from, which is Miami, Florida, man. That was the cocaine capital at one point. So in '96, he definitely went through some things with coke possession and stuff like that got him suspended. And but he clawed his way back. So for him to kind of go out on that injury was really a really big. It was a heartbreaker for us because of how far he had climbed back to kind of get back from that reputation of just being a party animal. But again, that fire just was everywhere, man. And he was the leader on this team, man, at almost all times. I can't even imagine having Aikman, Emmett, and Irvin on the same team, having three dudes like that were just straight leaders in their position.
Yeah,
in the locker room, man. Like that's just an embarrassment of riches, man.
Embarrassment of riches. Love it. I love it. You know, Michael Irvin is so animated and all of his touchdown dances and stuff like that, man. I would love, as you know, Ryan had tapped in earlier and said, you know, if you were not aware that CD nose wipe celebration has been banned, he's got to come up with a new celebration this year. We know he's going to get a touchdown. If you're smart, you'll draft him in fantasy football. He's going to get the major targets, especially with George Pickens. He's going to be like a decoy. I already told y'all, George Pickens is that bad boy decoy. Yeah, that boy got some wheels on him.
Ooh, stride. That was his thing. He just had long-ass legs, dude.
But I would love CeeDee Lamb to maybe reach in and maybe go and take some of the other 88 celebrations. Wouldn't that be an ode to the 88 if CeeDee came out and redid some of Irvin's celebrations, some of Drew Pearson's, or even throw up? Could you imagine CeeDee throwing up the X?
Ooh, you know what? That'd be pretty sick, man. I don't know if that would. I don't know, man. It kind of feels like maybe they thought maybe he was swinging on them a little bit. So I don't know, man. Reputation-wise, that might have been weird.
I think it would be nothing but straight up respect. You know what I mean? Because you know how that community is. They've all met before. They understand the importance of the number. This is like the only team that does this with a number, and it's the 88. So
it's like watching ballet when this dude plays on the.
But
NFL.
yeah, if CD comes out, man, if CD could do, you know, maybe the throwback. I think that's what players should start doing, man. Maybe we'll start seeing some throwback celebrations or some new ones, because you know the league has been called the No Fun League. You know, you've heard that before. It's been called the No Fun League because they wiping out celebrations, like my guy CeeDee Lamb's nose wipe celebration. So, that's my suggestion. I hope CD comes back and does some retro celebrations from the 88 club. You know what I mean? As we talk about all things 88 here today.
And I'll tell you, man, Dez was just too much, dude. Dez really was who kind of took that Michael Irvin mentality and brought it to a different level. He was just that jump ball, the ability, and I don't know, man. That was just one of those teams that I really think should have gone to the bowl. That was just such a damn good team, man. And it's definitely a bummer to see that, but at the same time, Dez really had that heartbeat, man. He's just so crazy to listen to, and he just goes all out, dude. He just really, really embodied 88, man. So that's just another one. I mean, we got, again, it's an embarrassment of riches with the 88s we had in this team.
Yep. Shorty's tapping in. She said he was on ESPN one time, and I will never forget when he was so fired up on their ass. He said he told them to get their rat-a-tat-tat out of here. They submitted him being my favorite. Must be talking about Playmaker. He was the best angry or the best energy out of all of the Cowboys alumni. Yeah, I mean, he's just a total go-getter, man. Like, he talks shit and make it happen. He ain't like a Tank Lawrence, talk shit and don't make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, when the 88 go across the middle and get the ball and get slammed, that's making a play for your team. You're not worried about, it's not like you know, shout out to Dion out there. He ain't out there making business decisions.
No. His business decision was taking that hit because he knew that was going to win the game for them, and that was all that mattered. And I don't want to sound like this old jaded fan that's been around too long. In my day, football always meant something. Like I grew up with free agency too, man. I mean, obviously I grew up without it at one point, but free agency's been around a long time, dude. It's selfishness for yourself is not something that's new in this NFL. I just feel like it's a little bit too obvious now. I think people are a little too obvious about getting that bag as opposed to getting that banner. And that's really what I expect out of my 88s when they get that number on their chest, that those are going to be guys that are not out for the bag. They're out for the banner. And we're lucky to have two of them get a few of them within their time. A couple of them have not, obviously, but I mean, we're talking about Irvin getting 3. It's just one of those things where if you've got that number, you almost have to play well. And we're not going to give it to a duck anyway. So,
right. Shout out to Prototype. She says, I think how you think, B. I like how you think. Definitely would love to see him pay homage to the 88s. Yeah, that'd be cool. Because ain't no telling. I mean, if I'm CD, I'm also thinking, damn, what am I going to do? I mean, who knows? He may have 2 or 3 new ones lined up we haven't seen because he knew that was going to happen. Like, who knows? But it'll be interesting to see because CD going to grab some TDs, baby. And if you're playing fantasy football, like I've been telling y'all, I'm only drafting CD Lamb. Let me know, what is your fantasy football team name in the comments? Bob, what's your fantasy football team? You run with the same name all the time or you change it up every year?
No, and last year I officially retired from fantasy football overall, man. Yeah, I'm not doing it anymore. It's just
wow.
It took the fun out of the game for me, I think. Where other people actually get more fun doing it. I think the game's too different now for the way I think of fantasy football, so I'm opting out of it. But in my gamer league, the theme would change every year, as well as the other pay league I was in. So the name would always change. So in my gamer league, I would always make something they would always mix something with the NFL and video games. But with my other one, it could have been anything, presidents, your favorite alcohol, whatever the case may be. So I never got to kind of to move it over. But my favorite one was Cowboys from Hell. I took the Pantera logo and I put I think Jason Witten and 3 other guys in there. It came out really, really good.
Dope.
So I
got real creative on that one. Yeah. Now mine is the Draft Whisperer. Nice. Even though I don't be winning, you know what I mean? Because I'm supposed to be the Draft Whisperer, but because it's real competitive. Shout out to everybody. I'm gonna be running all my Patreon this year is gonna be fantasy football, my primetime picks and my weekly picks will be on my Patreon. So if you want to get all of those picks and be a part of my fantasy football leagues this year, I placed the link in the comments down there below. You got to have a Raise the Bar membership. Plus, you'll be able to chance to compete like this month. All of my folks that are on Patreon, y'all need to make sure you go to the chat. And I'll pull that up here shortly. Make sure you go to the chat and put in how many hats. My guy Bob said 12,000. How many total hats do y'all think Big Val has made over his 8-year career? If you know my hat plug, Big Val, there's the link for Patreon right there. You get all my picks and weekly fantasy and all of that stuff that's going down there this year. But leave us the comments down there below. How many hats do you think Big Val has created in his 8-year career? My guy Bob said 12K.
Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, that looked like a big number, if I'm being honest. But again, I said to myself, dude, I feel like he's going to grind out. He's going to get at least one a day done for a few years and then sit on the rest. But yeah, that's a lot, man. I don't know. But again, I don't really know what it takes to make it. So I think if I knew any of that information, I might have made a better choice.
Yeah, he's got some help. I think he's got a couple people that help him and overall, but he's got a system down, and you know what I mean? He's already assured me he's working on the hats. He's giving away one. I'm taking one to Alaska with me. Shout out to everybody going to Alaska. Shout out to my guy RC and AK. Shout out to One Star One Family. DJ Kai will be there. My girl Kim Clam up in Anchorage, Alaska, who outfished all the men. I'm telling you, man, we getting our ass whipped by the women everywhere. I got to go back up to Alaska to try to outfish all the ladies on the boat. But my guy Big Val made a hat. He's going to be that'll be given to the top fisherman or fisherwoman of the boat. And then plus, we're going to give away one on Patreon. So not only do you get all of the new intel from all my network and everything, you also get a chance to win some cool prizes. Plus, you're also supporting the only blog on the internet talking about Cowboy fans 365 days a year, like we're talking about the 88s here today with my guy Bob. I knew today was going to be a special show.
Yeah, man, he's talking about the 88s, dude. It's just
I don't know. Should we nail down any other legendary number days? Maybe, I don't know, 22 for Emmett. Maybe 22 days we do an Emmett dedication.
What's crazy is that number. It's funny how that number doesn't seem to be guarded as much Neither does number 8, if I'm being honest. It doesn't seem to be a guarded number, man. Like,
or maybe we could do a 24 for Marion the Barbarian, highlight some, some past players that have played with us or something. Y'all let us know in the comments below, especially if you watch this after the fact, use hashtag replay. We appreciate everybody rolling with us here today, but let us know who would you like us to see as we highlighted all of the 88s here today. We got to get our 88 behavior on. Shout out to all the folks going to be participating in the 88 behavior bowling challenges from city to city. That's right. We're going to be in Dallas for the home opener. We're going to be in my guy Bob's city in Denver to do one out there. And then we're going to be out in Sin City to follow up in November. But yeah, let us know in the comments below which player or number would you like us to see highlighted here next to talk all things about whatever, as we're now 88 days before the Cowboys and the Eagles kickoff. It's not like anybody's counting down, but let us know in the comments below. Who would you like to see us? I think Marion the Barbarian is a good idea, 24, since, 22 would be a given with Emmett. But then I don't know. We got to take a look at schedule. That's why I'm kind of hitting you on the nose with it right now and talking to everybody so we get some feedback in the comments. Maybe we could lock at least one down moving forward as we go through this countdown to give everybody something to digest. Because like I was telling you in the green room, man, you see everybody posting, we them boys, the draft, free agency, rookie minicamp, and now we'll probably see it this week here again as we go into mandatory minicamp because we got that kicking off Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Want to hear something else? A crazy statistic. After 750 catches and over 11,000 yards, Michael Irvin only has 3 lost fumbles.
Wow. He did say he didn't ever drop no balls, Paul.
That dude didn't drop the ball.
Yeah, I think he did a video and he's like, you see these hands? He's like, I ain't never dropped the ball.
Yeah, man, he did.
3 times? That's 3 times?
He dropped it 4 times, but only lost 3.
In his career.
In his entire career.
Damn. Yeah. I think that's more impressive. I don't know. I think that might be a little more impressive than Zach Martin with 8 holding calls versus 9 or
so that that's just right there. That shows
9 Pro Bowl seasons. You know what I mean?
The fundamental of your position. Zach Martin knew the fundamentals.
Oh, we should do it. We could do a Zach Martin dedication on 70, right? We could do that day.
Yeah, or just players that are doing things right.
Like Russell says, number 94, that's a Marshawn Nealon right now. Who you got? I mean, there's a couple 94s that have played for the Cowboys now. Which one you talking about, Russell? Let us know.
That's true. Yeah, I got my number 94 for sure. But again, that I'm old school. But at the same time, that's a good number, man. That seems to be, what's funny? That seems to be the only other number that I think is attached to greatness on our team. And that has really more to do with where kind of revitalizing it and saying that, hey, there are some 94s before, that's pretty crazy, man. We might want to try that out, man.
I got you. Yeah, defense. I know you're talking about, Russell. Let us know which 94 are you referring to? Because we could actually do both of them on 94 a day, right? I guess we could do a double dose.
Yeah, there's a couple.
We could do whatever the fuck we want to do with it, right?
We can do it. We do have that power. It is our show.
That's what I love about creative control. So shout out to everybody that uses StreamYard out there. We're streaming live on 3 platforms today. We appreciate everybody tapping in. I appreciate you joining me on short notice today, Bob. But I knew you'd be down, especially to talk about your guy, Playmaker.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, man. By the way, you know what? I forgot to share with everybody. I was watching Michael Irvin's YouTube video the other day, and I asked him who wide receiver 3 was, and he called my question out. He said, who is wide receiver 3? He's like, wait a minute. You mean who is wide receiver 2? And then he got all into that, the 1 and the 1A and all of that. So shout out to Playmaker, baby, on the engagement on YouTube. Make sure y'all go check out CD Lamb. Like I shared, CD Lamb is now officially on YouTube. You can go watch that video on there of him going through his contract process and the reactions to that. But talking all things 88 today, yeah, maybe I think 94. I think 94 is a lock, man. Maybe we could do 94.
Yeah, that might be it. I mean, we should have thought about.
Well, no, we can't. We can't really. Technically, we're 88 days.
Well, I was just saying that we should have thought about that a little while ago.
Yeah. That flew right over my head like a Dak Prescott pass, bro. But okay, so yeah, maybe 70. Maybe Zach Martin. What day is 70 on? I have to map that out. Damn, got all kind of countdowns going on today. But hey, we appreciate everybody joining us. You got Dandy Don fumbling around by the light switch, and y'all know how that goes. So thank y'all for tapping in today, especially if you gave any kind of stars, if you gave a like, a comment, and or a share. Make sure you use hashtag replay and let us know in the comments below, if you watch this after the fact, who is your favorite 88 of all time. We shared ours. We love to hear y'all's, and we will come back and answer all the questions. So until the next dedication, Bob, you got any words of wisdom before we get out of here?
Keep growing, baby. Keep rolling, man. We're good.
Keep growing, baby. Just like this countdown is going down. We'll see y'all in the gym on the next episode.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.